Hello, 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 my loveliest friends. Welcome to the SideQuest, your weekly journey to the wonderful world of video games, video game culture, and the geeks that talk about and engage in said stuff. I'm Dolly Domovsky. Joining me momentarily will be Tyler. You'll see him in just a second. Obviously, evenings on a Sunday aren't always the best, but figured let's do a Sunday evening show. Get a head start on the week with the gaming news that just happened. I do want to start by saying thank you to everybody who is a Patreon member, a wonderful, valued Patreon member. Thank you to our executive, top tier, right there. Bam! Punctified, Punkedefied. Make sure you follow them. Fantastic peeps. Also, thank you to our producers, Stefan Swanlin, Zero the Prototype, Exaginous, and Jeff Grubb. They're all awesome people as well. Find them if you can. Be nice to them. You can find them all in the Discord, the SideQuesting Discord. We're going to have no JJ today, but we are going to have Tyler and maybe some other special guests. We'll see. It is a Sunday evening show. While I vamp a little bit, I'm celebrating my Detroit Lions winning. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Always a good Sunday after my team wins. We were in Toronto over the weekend. I'm going to talk real briefly about something when Tyler gets over here. But I had a chance to try out some Switch stuff in Toronto. My hand is big here. Not Nintendo related, anything for us being out there. I just had Switch accessories that I had a chance to try out and utilize. And a trip is always good. Wow, my hair looks extra poofy today. Little hair that I have left is poofing it up. Look at that. Speaking of Tyler, there's Tyler.
Coming in right at bedtime.
Perfect. No, it's all good. We know the feeling. I was just saying, we were waiting for you, and then I was mentioning to folks that I was out of town all over the weekend, and I had a chance to celebrate my Detroit Lions winning. But how are you doing?
Ooh, I'm good.
Yeah.
Slow weekend at work, which is always good. I
Yeah.
work on the
Okay.
weekends for those that aren't aware, so
Yeah.
that's always fun.
He is a male stripper. Very wild. Yeah, you could. Yeah. Nerdy Crow is actually his stage name. No.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, I was just mentioning that I was out of town this weekend. I was in Toronto I was actually in Toronto for a wedding, and managed to take some Switch accessories with me. Thanks to our friends at Snakebite. There you go. Our friends at Snakebite sent us a bunch of Switch 2 accessories, like cases and storage stuff and chargers and things like that. So I decided, you know what? Perfect time to review this. Take them all with me, see how to use them. I've actually been kind of using them now and again over the last, I think they showed up like a week and a half ago. So I've been trying to actually put them through use. So I'll talk more on the next episode because I want to finalize my thoughts on some of these things and take some better pictures and stuff. But yeah, thank you to Snakebite. We also have a bunch of reviews that are happening. Tyler's review will be up in the next day or so, which is awesome. Everything else is finally, the Nintendo Direct stuff, which we're about to talk about, is finally cooled off. And so I can get back to reviews and videos and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, Tyler's review is going to go live. Expect that. And we've got a bunch of other things coming, things we can't talk about that are, that we're reviewing, things we can talk about, but we'll get to that stuff a little bit later. Let's talk about the Nintendo Direct. Did you hear about this thing? Did you hear about this?
I did hear about it. Very exciting. I thought it was a really good Direct for the most part.
Let me share this. I'm going to share the Direct in the background, and then let's kind of talk over it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't have a list up, but I remember they started with Mario. So.
The Mario. It's funny. So I was all excited for this Direct. There you go. Let me turn off the audio here. All excited for this Direct. I was I had my day was scheduled, planned. It was all locked in. And then I had a work meeting at 9 a.m. scheduled. Actually, it was scheduled at 8:30. And I'm like, okay, first 9 a.m. Then they pushed it to 8:30. I'm like, perfect. When they get to my stuff will be right away, and then I can just kind of have my work stuff happening on one screen, and I can tune into the Direct on the other screen. But no, I ended up having to speak right at 9 o'clock. So I missed this whole beginning part. I had to rewatch it. And I know you were a little bit behind too. You guys were
Yeah.
watching a little bit later too. So.
Yeah, just nothing in general. Just had to get the kid breakfast, and that's like
Yeah.
right at 9. So
Yep.
I wasn't usually whenever it is work stuff, I will like keep it up in the background, and like I'll I work in IT and I get calls, so
Mhm.
it's like I'll take a call, pause it, and then like come back to it like
Sure.
whenever it's slow again. So that's how I did like all the Gamescom. So
Yeah. Yep. So they started with the 40th anniversary. There's our good friend, SideQuesting Zone Shigeru Miyamoto. Boy, has he gone places since SideQuesting started. Didn't hear about
oh
him
yeah,
beforehand, and now he's. But yeah, it started with the 40th anniversary. Obviously, we're not going to play the full hour length of this thing, but I will hop into just a few of these highlights. They talked a little bit about the Super Nintendo Land or Nintendo World, whatever that's called, which I
yeah.
freaking loved. I visited it over the
I think this is the
yeah.
Orlando park. It's like, hey, we're working on it.
Yes.
It's almost ready, which is it'll probably be is the closest one to me. So that would probably be
Okay,
the one that I
definitely
would
check it
go
out.
to. Yeah.
It is worth.
Um,
You could be there for like 5+ hours. It's that good.
I was
It's
gonna
funny
say
because
between that and Disney, it's gonna be like
yeah.
2 weeks, 3 weeks in Orlando.
You're gonna need
So
to. You're gonna need to. So it's funny. They started showing some games. So they're doing a bunch of cool stuff. They're doing marathons. They're doing a bunch of things. They talked, like I said, talked about Universal. They talked about the 2D Mario games, and all of a sudden you start seeing um, New Super Mario Brothers. I'm like, oh my gosh, that rumor of New Super Mario Brother collection is true. That's actually happening. No, that didn't happen. They did
they just
lead
acknowledged
into,
it.
yeah, they acknowledge, hey, it's this. This is like, whatever. And they did say, oh, by the way, we have an update on the Mario movie, which has an official name now, which leaked thanks to. I see. I have to bust through that because we will get tagged on that. The official name is the Super Mario Galaxy movie, and the way this leaked was really funny because um, there were originally trademarks for like Super Mario World that were floating around in
Yeah, and
weird
that's what
ways.
everybody thought the name was going to be,
Yeah,
and it made sense because Yoshi, Mario World, it makes
yeah,
sense. Yeah.
for sure. But then uh like the day before Mario Galaxy, like they announced this day before the direct, that evening before it, all of a sudden, people started posting these leaks of Old Spice flavors Old Spice scents and bottles from like 6 months ago, from like you know March, April, that had the Super Mario Galaxy movie stuff on there, which is
Oh
just
yeah.
wild. It's like, oh my goodness, these were apparently pre-production Old Spice stuff. It's gonna be the if you want to smell like Yoshi, smell like Yoshi. But yeah, the movie is a Mario
Love that
Galaxy
Yoshi
movie.
smell. Yeah, I'm very excited for it. It makes sense to do
Me too.
Galaxy. Galaxy kind of has like the biggest like story probably out of a big 3D
Mm-hmm.
Mario game, and it's not like Mario has a super big
Right.
canon that you have to stick to. Because I have seen people like literally being like, "Why are they skipping the Galaxy? Why are they acting like nothing exists between
Yeah.
Super Mario Brothers 1 and Galaxy?" And I'm like, I'm sorry,
Right.
like what do you expect them to do for Mario Brothers 3? Put on a stage show? Like,
Right. Exactly. Like you know what? I think uh, going this route is good because um, they decided, you know what? We laid the groundwork with with just what Super Mario Brothers is. Like that first movie was here's the crib notes for what Mario is. This is just watch this movie. You'll know who Mario is. You'll know all the characters. Done. That's why it was like it's a 7 out of 10 movie. Um,
yeah,
but
better than your average isekai that you find anymore.
exactly. But then the second movie, like, okay, now we're gonna go all out. Now we're really gonna put, and they even mentioned like in the kind of the talk through this, the conversation that they're jumping into all kinds of Mario lore. So it's not Mario Galaxy, and it's not like the previous one which like we had Mario Kart and we had Donkey Kong and that was it. No, they're
Yep.
they're gonna go. They could go pretty deep, so we could see some really
Yeah.
cool. Man, I want to see Wart. Wart would be kind of cool, but they got the returning cast, so expect the Jack Black is back, and
I thought it was
um,
funny that they seem to have updated Chris Pratt's headshot. I
they
feel like maybe
did. Yes,
Chris got a little mad at those
there
memes
you
of
go.
him.
Yeah, dark-haired Chris, Anya Taylor-Joy, Charlie Day, who's perfect as Luigi.
I was gonna say some of
Um,
them are updated. As Jack Black seems to be exactly the
yeah,
same because
yeah. Yeah, he has not changed. This picture of Keegan Michael Key looks like an AI version of Keegan Michael Key. Just the quality of that photo. But yeah, so everybody's back, but they haven't announced. do we know if Seth Rogen's back? We don't know. Do we know some of the other characters? Do we know who's going to play Yoshi? No idea. That was the tease at the end. But to celebrate the movie, they said, oh, by the way, we're going to re-release Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2 in a collection, which people always wondered why Mario Galaxy 2 wasn't like they had that first collection on the Switch, which had the first 3D Mario games, right?
Yep.
64, Sunshine, and Galaxy.
I was just happy to get Sunshine. Like everything else was a bonus. Like I just wanted Sunshine.
Exactly. Same here. Because I had never completed Sunshine. So, and then I thought, then they're probably going to release Galaxy 2 as a downloadable game, right? If it's not on the disc, make it a downloadable game or DLC or something for it. But they never did. In fact, they went right to Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury. So Galaxy 2 is kind of lost time, even though Galaxy 2 is rated higher than the original Galaxy. It's the highest rated Nintendo game of all time.
It's been forever since I've played it, but I do remember liking Galaxy 2 a lot more than Galaxy 1. And Galaxy 1's fine. It's just, there's less Wii motion gimmicks, which I feel like Mario Galaxy didn't really use the best of. Like the rollerball segment was super annoying, and a lot of other ones. There's less of that in Galaxy 2, and I think that's a big reason why I like it. So you can definitely
see that. The multiplayer stuff there is definitely included with the pointer thing there. But we haven't seen Galaxy is fine. We haven't seen the what they can do with Galaxy 2, from a high res standpoint. Now, is it going to? I think it says in this it's going to be 4K on the Switch 2 and just 1080 on the or whatever on the original Switch.
That sounds right. I swear 3D All-Stars got some sort of similar update where I think basically they are going to be the same version. Somebody somewhere was like, hey, I think the font is different on Galaxy 1, which okay, that's fine. And then they also said they're adding additional pages to the Rosalina storybook. So
and releasing it in physical, and which is available to order now. And they got those 2 new amiibo, which somebody showed a comparison by just lining up the sizes of the bases, and they're huge. They are giant, but they look really cool. Yes, I did pre-order them.
I pre-ordered the physical set of Galaxy 1 and 2, even though I have 3D All-Stars. I don't really need Galaxy 1 again. They are selling both separately. So the owners of 3D All-Stars can just get Galaxy 2 separately, but that's digital only. So.
Yes, correct. And it's $40 though.
Yeah,
that one is, but that's the Nintendo
it's expensive,
tax.
But also it's Galaxy 2. I'm just happy it's here.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you for sure. I mean, when you think about it, it's like, you're getting Galaxy 2 for $40.
Yeah,
and it's been improved in meaningful ways, supposedly. So I mean, it's like
you don't have to play with a Wii remote. That's worth $40 by itself.
Exactly. So, I thought that was great. I'm definitely looking forward to this one. Excuse me, it is Sunday. They also said, hey, we got more Mario stuff for you. A brand new Mario Tennis game is coming for the Switch 2. Now we're getting into more of the Switch 2 specific stuff. So I got a fever for more tennis, Mario Tennis. Sorry, bad
I've never really played Mario Tennis, but it looked cute. It's always one of those things where maybe I'll check it out sometime. This one seems to have a story mode of sorts, which looks neat.
The previous game did as well, but it wasn't like a full-on adventure mode. It was just sort of like a series of matches, right?
Okay. Yeah.
This one, obviously they have the regular tennis styles, and they're also going to have new movesets. So you get a slide and a dive. Now you have these new things called fever rackets, which can do certain things. There you go. And you have 38 different characters, which is kind of wild for a. There you go. You see which is wild for a Mario Tennis game. Oh, they got the new DK. So they got all that, but then they also have this adventure mode. Let me go here.
Because the other big gimmick is the fever with the rackets. The rackets all have different abilities and stuff, which is cool. That's a good way to kind of customize it a bit.
The Switch game was okay. I think the Switch game was fine. This is actually kind of cool. The Trial Towers, which is sort of like these heavily modified trials, like challenges to make your way through and play. It's like the Smash Brothers mode where they you have to play variations in Ultimate of different fighters and kind of get through things. So they're doing some of the similar thing here. Obviously online stuff, Come on, let me get to this adventure mode here. Here we go.
Yeah, because the adventure mode look. I think there was a game called like Tennis Story, which was like a big like RPG tennis game. And it feels like this is kind of like they're going for something similar to that. Everybody is a baby, and I don't know why.
Love it. Let me get back to that image. Hold on. Mix it up here.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I'll have to replay this again. But yeah, they're all turned into
for the thumbnail.
Yeah, they're turning everyone into a baby, which is cool. Yes, obviously using the Motion Plus or whatever it's called, the Switch 2 Joy-Con. But yeah, I am definitely excited about this mode, the adventure mode, because I love playing the competitive stuff. Yeah, I love them. Look at it. Look at Wario, by the way.
Wario and Waluigi being babies is absolutely hilarious. They could have just stuck with like Mario and them, but
okay, whatever. It's hard to find this sucker. Anyway,
yeah, I know. Scrubbing on YouTube is hard.
On YouTube. Yeah. Anywho, yeah, there we go. Look at him. Look at it. Look, everybody kind of looks normal. Wario, as a kid, as a baby, has the Wario and Waluigi have just those big noses, and that's why they're angry all the time.
Yeah.
Donkey Kong is the babysitter that unfortunately has to.
You can tell he's already like really.
He's already yeah. Yep. No, it's fantastic. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Yeah, because there's. Yeah, it just seems really interesting. It seems like a cool concept. To put this type of stuff in. Like I said, I love Nintendo games, Nintendo sports games like this. The other sports stuff they've done, other Mario Kart things like that have the single player focus, but that's fine. But I like this. I like to have the multiplayer focus. I like the single player stuff because I do like putting chunky hours into a game. Golf, Mario Golf had that, and that was really neat. On the Switch, and so this I think is going to be the one that end up putting a lot of time in, and it visually looks really good.
It looks great. I mean, it's Mario. I feel like Mario always looks great. I also love how they always like integrate like the newest like kind of mainline game into the stuff, because like those like Wonder Flowers you can get that would like affect the. And speaking of Switch 2 edition of Wonder here.
I made this as one of my predictions. I said our Wonder Switch 2 prediction on the last episode, and I also said the DK DLC. But let's talk about this. I think this is cool. Of course, if you already have the game, then this is a $20 upgrade. I'm assuming because they haven't announced the price for it, but it's a whole new park that's got sort of these multiplayer challenges. Bella Bell Park. So there's all these multiplayer challenges, but I'm also like. There is more in this from what I was reading. So this is
it looked like there were normal levels too. They showcased like a bunch of like multiplayer stuff, but I think there was going to be like a new suite of levels.
Yep. Fast cash. They had the tag thing, which looked really cool, and I think they're going to show that here in a second. Which is live.
Oh yeah, I think this is it. Yeah. No,
it's the next. I think it's the next one after this one. Yeah, the Fanto tag. Sorry, Fanto tag. There it is.
Yeah.
Who's ever it? So you go around, but you hide by changing into one of the flowers, right? So you're changing into these flowers and sort of disguising yourself, hoping that they won't find you. So I think that's really cool. And then you become it. So Then there's obviously co-op modes. So you're starting to see some more regular levels, but apparently there's going to be whole levels built in.
I think they showed the map and it looked like normal levels as well. This stuff is fine. Like, I mean, this will probably be more fun, like maybe in a couple of years when my kid is older and like can actually play with us. For just like me and my wife, I could see it like it'd be fun a couple of times, but I don't see us like coming back to play this like every single day or something.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do think it's neat. Like, here's one of these things look like they're multiplayer levels almost. It is neat that they're also showcasing like just straight up 2D mini games. Like, you don't see a lot of 2D. Like, here we go. That's this might be the single player stuff.
Yeah, because I think that's like all the Koopalings and stuff. Yep, that's the map. Yep, that's just a regular level.
Cool. So we'll find out. Find out what this is. Spring 2027. One of the areas did show on the map showed a Rosalina in the corner, so that may be. I wonder if she can be a playable character.
She was an unlockable character in 3D World, and she's the only way I can beat that final level you get for, because I cannot get through that as Mario. I've got to be Rosalina with that spin.
And by the way, you can also get the talking flower, which does nothing except talk. You can hit the button, or it'll talk on its own. And this will be like probably what, $100, just something
Yeah.
something
I
goofy.
mean,
Then
it's cute, and like I
yeah.
don't mind the flowers. I think the flowers are very much a love or hate them kind of character from Mario Wonder, but like, sure, not.
I want to buy if they're cheap enough. I'm gonna buy a few of them and hide them around the gardens, like the little on alcoves in my office that when people walk by, there's this weird little thing talking to them all the time. A new Yoshi game. So this had like we see like Yoshi's Crafted World, and they had the other Stitch
Hmm.
Yoshi, and they've done like the paper craft Yoshi and blah blah blah. This had like almost like a stop motion uh Yoshi's Island feel to it,
Yeah,
more
this
so than
feels
other
like
games.
I've never played Yoshi's Story, but I thought it was like a Yoshi's Story remake at
Yeah,
first.
sure,
Kind of
okay,
had that
okay.
sort of vibe, but
Yeah.
yeah, I like Yoshi, kind of like experimenting with the art style a little bit, which I think Woolly World was kind of more like building off
Yep,
of like Kirby's
yep.
Epic Yarn, like making them more
Yeah.
realistic. But I, it's fine. I feel like the Yoshi games maybe have like not the best track record with stuff. Like everything after the original Yoshi's
Mhm.
Island has been like real hit or miss.
Even new
But
Yoshi's Island that they put on, yeah, yeah.
yeah, and I haven't played like most of them, so I can't really say for sure, but just from like what I've seen like online of people like, it's like mostly just people like Yoshi's Island, Super
Yeah,
Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, and like,
like, that's the
oh,
only one you really need to play out of all of them. That first Yoshi's Island was great from a challenge standpoint, had some really cool things going for it,
mhm.
and it's kind of visually stunning. It still does its job at being this really, really good-looking game. Since then, these Yoshi games have been extremely geared towards, like, kids,
Yeah,
like like not even like younger than preteens, because the levels are very easy to complete. So Yoshi
yeah,
is essentially Nintendo's
which
toddler-ish
is perfect
character.
for
Yeah,
me. This is
there you
like
go.
if I'm
Yeah,
gonna get one, it might be this one because
yep,
I need some training wheels to start her on in a couple of years.
there you go. It's not like a super challenging platformer, so it's great for folks, and it's meant for kind of learning the ways. So that was that, and then they had come on, there was one more. I thought they were going to show the other thing here. I guess that's a little bit later. But yeah, they showed a few. They had like a little sizzle reel of some games here
Yeah,
from some third parties um, that are coming in. Some indie games, some AAA games, mid-level games. Yeah, Storm Lancers from Probably Monsters, which looks kind of cool. It's another Metroidvania-ish type of thing, I guess. What's the next one here? You have that was available on
oh
Friday, I
yeah,
think.
a lot of shadow drops. I
Yep,
appreciate a fun little shadow drop sometime.
yep. There were a couple
And
that were really
then
interesting. Dinkum, which is pretty popular.
fun name,
Yeah, I
which I
always
think
like
is like
that
an
name.
Australian term, but yeah.
Is it okay? Then you have this, which at first I'm like, oh, is it like a Mighty Number something game? I don't know. It has like elements of a bunch of different styles of games in it, but Pocom, I think it's what it's called.
Yeah, multiplayer only
Multiplayer
is always
only.
very bold. It's like
Yeah,
Splatoon mixed with Puyo Puyo, but like it's multiplayer
yeah.
only, but co-op focused. It
Ninjala was like that. So if a lot of people don't
yeah.
remember Ninjala on the Switch, that game was still apparently going, and I think it's finally ending life this year. But yeah,
Yeah, this looks neat, and I do, and they'll show it in a second, but like it supports like game share, which I think is really cool because
yes,
we have a Switch 2, but only one Switch 2, and like sometimes like a game like this, I don't know how well like split screen would work or if it would even support it. So like if I did get it, it's like we could play it together, game share it to like my wife's Switch Lite and still be able to play it without having to have a second Switch 2, which is good because you're only getting more expensive, baby.
I've got to say the game share stuff is pretty awesome because we've used it for Donkey Kong, we've used it for like Mario Party, we use it for a bunch of things, and it's like wow, Nintendo really kind of it is low key a fantastic way to play games. So
Yeah.
and then
I
this, my
think they're
daughter
aware
was
that like most households, if they're getting a Switch 2, are only getting like one Switch 2.
yeah,
So
at least for now. At least for now. Right, right, right. Tomodachi Life. My daughter's a big Tomodachi Life fan. She loved the 3DS one. We've been waiting for this to come out. They announced it obviously back in end of March for the Switch, and now it's still coming out in 2026. They're just kind of showing the me-ish character creator on here. I'm
oh
very
yeah.
curious to see the stuff that people end up with because that last game on the 3DS was so heavy on celebrities and bringing like My daughter had, I think she had
That's
like
been the thing
Zendaya.
since like Mii's
Yeah,
came out, like just
yeah.
making celebrities.
But like especially like Zendaya and Shaq and would have a kid, and all of a sudden their kid grows up and their kid leaves and they're sad, so they have another kid. No, it's
Yeah.
So I'm very curious to see what people make in this, but they have updated the style of the Miis in Tomodachi Life here, which is that's to me is very interesting. So there's definitely more of a like the Mii design has adjusted, but I mean I love the goofiness of Tomodachi Life. I'm looking forward to checking this out because it's just a weird like Sims life, like a godlike game, right? You're just kind of you're not controlling the actual characters, you're just controlling the stuff around them, which
Yeah,
is
I never got into
so cool.
Tomodachi Life, but it
Okay.
has a vibe to it, and I'm very happy for the people that are very into it because
Yeah.
this is the kind of thing that you definitely just kind of want more
Yep.
of, I can
Yeah.
tell.
Totally. Totally. So yeah, Goofy. That's great. That's yeah, like I said, spring
Yeah,
2026.
spring.
Then you had another like let's get another sizzle reel going here of a few things. Mortal
Yeah,
Kombat,
Mortal Kombat.
obviously.
Interesting thing, because I'm not super into Mortal Kombat, so I'm going to shift straight to this. Apparently, in the Japanese Direct, instead of Mortal Kombat, they announced a Mega Man Star Force Legacy
Yeah.
Collection, which honestly, I would have been more. I've never played Star Force, but I really
Yep.
like Battle Network, and I know it's supposed to be
Okay.
like the spiritual successor to Battle Network. I think it's like in the far future of the same parallel universe. So, yeah, for all you Star Force fans out there you go. Now,
Definitely. Yep.
people I think are just mad it's not Legends, but
Yeah. That's all right. That mean that eventually.
Yeah, it's like the only one left, I
That
think.
it really is. I don't think there's anything else. And then Final Fantasy VII, they gave a date, which is I think January. And they
Love
also
that
did
game.
say,
Not gonna
yeah,
replay it on Switch, but
well, yeah, I know. I own, like I said, I own it in a few spots. Do I want to play it again? Maybe I mean, if it was a physical game card, would have bought it. I would,
yeah.
I want that physical card. Obviously, we know 85 gigs, blah, 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 blah.
If
You
any
can't
game
do
is gonna
that.
be a game, yeah, a game key card is gonna be fine. Like that game is huge.
That
Like,
and probably whatever Call of Duty ends up being. But
yep.
yeah, yeah. So then you have Linked, which Zach is still reviewing. Zach, calling you out on that one. He's supposed to get the review, but it's cool, kind of a cool little lifestyle, life sim, and slash, futuristic action game. And then you had Hades 2, which is a console exclusive. I know a lot of people have played the early access version. I didn't touch it because I don't want to be sullied. No, just kidding. I don't play the early access versions of a lot of games only because I know how much can change. So I can't,
Oh yeah.
it's difficult for me to kind of formulate stuff because I know it's in process. I think it's valuable for developers to do it, but I never consider that to be like the final game, right? It's like, oh, it's out in EA. I played it in EA, yeah, but that's not the final game. This is the final game. It actually is fully releasing next week, which is just wild to me. And so it's a Nintendo console exclusive, which is also wild. And
Yeah.
we're in a weird era where we got Hades 2 and Silk Song within like 3 weeks of each other, which is
Right.
it's just bonkers. It's a real big bonkers world to be in. And for Western audiences, especially, they're gonna kind of dominate anything that's not a sports game this month.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see what game of the year discussions are going to be like because like
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are going to be putting probably both of these games on their list. Neither of them
Yeah.
are like super appealing to me right now. I haven't played
Sure.
either of their first games either, so they're
I
not going to be
love
on
the
my
original Hades.
list.
Loved it. Yeah.
But
Okay.
but yeah, I know it's going to dominate a lot of people's lists, and then there's like a lot of stuff from the beginning of the year, like Expedition 33, a lot of stuff coming out like
Yeah.
late.
And,
So
and Donkey Kong's in there, and other stuff
yeah.
is in there, and we got remakes coming. Yeah. But yeah, hey, there you go. A couple weeks here. Next week, check that out. Then they're like, hey, by the way, you guys remember the big giant hour-long Kirby Direct we have? We're gonna do another one. They
We
mentioned we're gonna
need
do
a
one more.
second one.
I don't know why. Maybe they
I think
saw
Sakurai
mine.
just likes to talk.
I think so. I think he probably saw JJ and I talk about our not love of the demo they had at PAX. I guess the game didn't demo very well at PAX because you don't actually get to see like the modes in there, and it's kind of there were issues with the
I
way they
feel
had
like
things set
it's a
up.
game that's hard to demo. My only experience with the first Kirby era games, I think I
Yeah,
played a kiosk demo as a kid at like I think it was when the Circuit
sure.
City near me was still open, which is I
Yeah,
don't think there's
yeah.
any Circuit Cities around anymore. Like, yeah, I was like, I don't know what this is. I'm gonna go back to like playing Smash.
Yeah. And this game's November, right? Air Riders is November. So, hey, guess what?
Yeah.
Also November. Earlier in November, they finally released a date for this Age of Imprisonment. So it's the prequel, or it's the events that happen in Tears of the Kingdom that we only kind of get glimpsed
The
at.
canon events.
The canon events.
We
Weirdly
promise this time.
enough, there is, for this time, for real. There is a moment where we see the character, which I'm calling Link, the Link bot.
Yeah.
Because you can't have a Legend of Zelda game without Link. And let me see if they show that in here. Oh, I will say one cool thing.
He's on the box art. That's where I
That's
pulled
what
it
it was, the
from.
box
Because
art. Okay.
it is a very much like a Link looking like Zonai, like construct with like a hood and everything. And it's like, of course you're gonna like you need that like kind of basic like Link kind of gameplay archetype, especially for a game like this where everybody plays differently.
Yeah.
And it just so long as he's not like a big part of the story, it's whatever.
Yep.
You could even just like pull like other random links from different games into this game, whatever. But
and these games, the DLC for these, there's always that's kind of cool. You can actually make some constructs. The DLC for these games always ends up having characters from other Zelda games.
This is another one where it was like game share. I was like, this might be neat because like, my wife is more into the open air Zelda games than I am. Like I enjoyed them, but like she really loves them. And this might be one where it's like if we want to play this, we might end up co-oping it together. The only kind of like, Muso game that I've played is Persona 5 Strikers. So not sure how good of a gauge that is for like these kinds of like Hyrule Warriors games, but Strikers was fine. Like the story was great, the gameplay was fine. I hated Persona Fusion, but I feel like that was just like them not knowing how to make it work well in their kind of game. So
they did show the Link bot in this here, which you'll see in a second when they go through this battle sizzle reel here. Right at the very end, you see Link coming from the sky. So I'm wondering how they're gonna say, this is
that's a cool shot right there. Yeah,
definitely, and it's right. Not there. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
So this is the construct right there. So it can turn into, it seems like it can turn into everything, and they make it so that, hey, we need a Link style hero. There they are, coming on down. So cool stuff. November 6th. I will get this because I actually do like these styles of games. I think they're kind of fun. They're not always, like I said, they're not always good, but man, they're just like satisfactory.
I own the other two Hyrule Warriors games, and I need to boot them up. So maybe we'll do like a little mini marathon of like all three of them at some point.
And then you had this one, which blew my mind. Didn't think this was happening at all because they're working on. They've been promoting other games in this series for the last couple years. Dragon Quest VII Reimagined is what they're calling it, and they're fully remaking from the ground up Dragon Quest VII, which is an absolutely beloved DQ game. I
was gonna say, is it the favorite? Is it all sevens all around for Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest?
Ooh, man, I know, right? No, I'm I don't love this the most out of the like Dragon Quest 3 and 4 for me are my two favorites. Dragon Quest 11 is arguably the best in the series. I think I
played a little bit of 11, and it's like if I'm going to like try to get into the series, I'll probably go back and try to finish that one
but
first.
Really, but from like 7 and then 8 was also fantastic, and then 9 somehow topped 8, and then like 10 is the online one, so not enough people in the US in the West played it, but like 10 has been really good, and 11 topped all those before it. So they've been doing a great job making these better and better. But they're bringing this out next year, which is wild, in February. So we were kind of joking. If you're a Switch owner and you love RPGs, you have Pokemon coming up, and that Pokemon actually looks really good, ZA. So that's coming up in October here. Then you have, before then, at the end of this month, in just like 2 weeks, you have Final Fantasy Tactics. You got Final Fantasy Tactics, then Pokemon, then Dragon Quest 1 and 2.
The Trails in the Sky remake is also coming to Switch too.
Then you had there was something else coming out in that I was joking around like there's something else in like something in November coming out. Then you have this game coming out February. You have Final Fantasy coming out in January. It's just, man, there's too many of them. But I do love that this is. Sorry, Stefan. I love that they're actually taking Toriyama's art. They turn it into dolls. and they scanned the dolls and made them.
It is such an interesting process the way they did
Yeah,
that. And
yeah,
like I'm on the fence, like, because like Stefan's like, oh, they're just ugly all around. I'm like, okay, like the face of like maybe like the main kid is
sure,
like, I'm not into that. He looks a little creepy to me, but like
right,
on the whole, I really like the look of it. So
yeah. I think it's a great idea to go this route because HD 2D, you can't make an HD 2D Dragon Quest 7 because there already
it was a
kind of was
PS1
one.
game, I think.
Well,
Yeah.
because it's a PS1 game exactly, and the 3DS game was like pre HD 2D, the 3DS port. So it was there was a little bit of HD 2D ish like feel in that. So yeah, you can redo that. And this set the whole freaking internet on the gaming sphere on fire. This is
I
wild. This is
I'm so
bonkers.
happy this exists for like game
Yes.
preservation thing, because like
Yeah.
I've always been like a really big stickler of like the publishers of these games should make an effort to have games available on like whatever the modern
Yep.
platform is. Like I don't care how expensive it is, like whatever, like just I want to be able to purchase and play it without having to like go to emulation or dig out
Yeah.
an old console or
Right.
something like that. So from this side of things, this is perfect. Virtual Boy is now in that category for me. But also, who loves the Virtual Boy this
No one
much?
actually no one actually loves the Virtual Boy. We just love the idea of the virtual because it was just such a wild concept for a device that yeah, I guess it had 3D ish to it. It
Yeah.
was sort of it really was just a self-contained. I'm gonna pause this for a second here
Yeah.
because I want to talk about something. It really was just a self-contained um 3DS. It was a self-contained 3D screen. It wasn't virtual
They can only
reality.
do black and red. It was
Yeah,
it
it can only do black and
what I
red.
always heard, and I don't know if this is true. Was it true that if you used it for a long period of time, you actually like when you came out of it, you couldn't see the color red for a little bit because like you were
I
just
don't
like so
remember.
zonked?
I don't remember. I definitely. I mean, I would be in this thing for hours for the. So I had bought the baseball game because that was the first one. And guess what? The baseball game isn't going to be one of the games here, which is just so weird. I
But we
had the
got Jack
baseball. Yeah.
Bros.
Yep. Which is a Persona game, and that is
Yeah, the
just
first
freaking
Shin
wild.
Megami Tensei game in the West, apparently.
Yeah. Yep. So I have tennis as well as that baseball game, and I think that's yeah, I was in the mainframe for sure. I yeah, it was such a weird console because again, only one person could play it at a time. You had to be seated, but you wanted to like now there are ways to emulate these games, but you never capture the feel of actually playing. Like, yeah, you can emulate them in a VR headset, but it's
Yeah.
not still doesn't feel right. You have to be sitting at a freaking table. But yeah, this is cool. We got was it 14 games in the US? I think there's 15 in Japan because there were a few others. There's 5 games in the West that we're not getting. Baseball. Or no, there's 4 games. Baseball and Waterworld are 2 of them. Baseball, I understand. Waterworld, or baseball, I don't understand. Waterworld, I kind of understand only from the licensing.
I
And
was gonna ask if it was actually licensed from the movie, like a movie adaptation or a game adaptation of the
it
movie
was,
Waterworld. Okay.
it was. And then you had Nestor's Funky Bowling. Also, I think licensing issues with those two because I think Nestor, even though it was a Nintendo thing, I think Future kind of owns part of it now because Future bought Nintendo Power, the magazine, to publish it, and things kind
Hmm.
of changed around for a bit. They owned it for like 4 or 5 years, and so I think there actually is some weird uh, like licensing stuff prevents those 2 games. But yeah, this is cool. It's a great idea. There are 2 Tetris games, 3D Tetris and V Tetris. So why not? So I don't know. I think this is just to see everybody lose their collective shit over it. I think was awesome, and it
It's
comes
just
with
like
it.
because like, everybody's like Wii or like maybe like DS.
Yeah,
That would
one of
make way more
those.
sense. Nah, just and the fact I think they said the either this or the cardboard thing is required to play it. I
Yes.
don't think you can just sit on your couch and play this on your TV docked, which
Yeah,
is also crazy.
yeah. So yeah, there you go. You need these to play. I love this shot right there. That's awesome. I'm gonna
That
screen.
perfect.
Yep, that'll be part of our thing. But yeah, I think it's great. It's silly. That cardboard thing, by the way, you'll have people being able to make like guaranteed. Like the Labo patent thing is, or the Labo design is already out there for the VR headset. So go ahead and just print that out and make it. You got it right here. You obviously have Fatal Frame.
This is really cool. I feel like the theme of this direct has been games that like I have not played, but I've been very interested in, and so this is right along with that. Very big into horror in general, like very excited for like Silent Hill and all that stuff.
It
And
looks
like
really
Fatal
good.
Frame has been like the big like Japanese influence like horror series. So I'm very excited to check this one out. Apparently there was like a Wii version that was also a remake. So
Yep.
But I think this is like another like ground up, like, third person over the shoulder like remake. So this looks good. I think this might be up there with like, I'm glad we're getting like all the big famous horror games like remade now. All the big twos, Resident Evil, Silent Hill, Fatal Frame. There we go. What else do you need?
Right off for sure. It's cool to see companies going back to these games, and it's great from the understanding that we have there's a huge well that we can pull from for bringing games back, especially to folks that have never played it. This direct was, hey kids, look at all these old games that we used to play that are back and they're better. I mean, from Mario World, even Mario Wonder, you have the Virtual Boy, you had, a bunch of that stuff. So I think that stuff is really cool from not just Nintendo, but everybody is starting, Dragon Quest, and you have One Piece come in, you have food
camera with Overcooked.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fine.
Stardew,
mouse controls.
This is kind of cool. Mouse controls on this Switch, 4-player split screen. Okay, I might dive into it. That's kind of, and game share, also badass. Game share is badass for this. So, Human Fall Flat. Okay, I know that they're really popular. Power Wash Simulator is really popular. I'm not dissing these games. It's just, they're
cool. This is always, there's always like a lull in these kinds of like things. I'm like, okay, this is cool. Somebody's happy. I'm very happy for you.
Someone that maybe hasn't played this
game to get me off. So get me excited, not off.
Both.
Both.
Like Suika game, Suika World. We played this. Oddly enough, I played this with my wife and daughter when it first launched on the Switch a couple years ago, and I'd never seen my wife so glued to playing a puzzle game. She's not a gamer anymore. She used to be Mario Kart and Mario, back in the day, NES, Super NES. Stopped gaming, but this sucked her right back in. Like, she could not stop playing Suika games. So it's like, all right, cool. Yeah, hey, whatever. It's a new version of it.
Yeah.
Also game share on this sucker as well.
A lot of game share in this segment, yeah.
Again, game share, 4-player split screen or 4-player game share. A lot of game share stuff. A very cool aspect from Nintendo. And then coming up now, finally, something that X in the has had on his fantasy critic. He's been waiting for forever. And that, my friends, is Metroid Prime 4, the Metroid Bike-troid.
Yeah,
as we call it.
Did you think that this was a different game at first? Because I was like, wait, there's a lot.
No.
Like, are we just doing a spin-off, or is this just in Prime 4? Because I was like, wait a second.
No, I went once I saw this, I'm like, oh, cool. There's a bike in Prime 4. And I think this is great because we haven't had like transportation or locomotion like this in any Metroid game. They've had very minimal aspects of this. Here, there's an open world, like an open world thing. I like Moto-troid. That's way better than Bike-troid. Moto-troid. There's an open world. Now, is it going to be sort of an empty open world? It kind of looks a little empty.
Yeah,
but I have.
It's probably going to be just like it might be like. By
the way,
like the wide linear.
Slide there, badass.
Yeah, we do need to do an Akira slide in this.
There it is.
I think it's probably like a wide linear, kind of like Uncharted or something would do, where it's a big open area, but you've only got like a few different like points of interest to hit, and probably like extra energy tanks, missile tanks, stuff like that that'll be out there.
This is kind of cool, actually. The attacks from the enemies, because typically it's one enemy at a time, and they're just kind of floating on the screen. You just got to know when to hit them. This is you're actually getting physically attacked. By the way, the new I think it's Viola is the name of the bike, and Viola is the suit that she's wearing.
Yeah, or like Viola, like the instrument.
Yeah, Viola. Yeah. December 4th. So I'm guessing we're going to get a whole direct on this guy. Probably Yeah, I think
I'm hoping we get ports of 2 and 3 as well because I want to do the whole series. But maybe I'll
I
just jump
don't.
and just play 4. I
I
wanted
think
to
we
do the
get
whole
2 and 3
series.
next year. I think we get 2 and 3
Yeah,
next year. Not this year. It's you can't push out 2 and 3 so close to 4. It will kind of cannibalize
we're jumping
4
ahead,
a
but
little bit.
Resident Evil's doing it, so for Switch
True,
2.
true in a way. I mean, those games already technically exist on the
Yeah,
Switch too. You can actually play them, but they're just not like, hey, they're physically. But yeah,
yeah.
this I've downloaded it. I started playing it, and this is. I've really only put like an hour into it, or not even like 40 minutes into it. But this feels like Switch 2, whereas
Mhm.
like again, they started Donkey Kong Bonanza on the Switch 1, right? We've
Yeah.
seen that information. This, I think, was developed on the Switch 2. So it visually looks better than than what the OG Donkey Kong Bonanza looks. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the color, maybe it's the saturation levels. They've added plenty, so I'm going to be diving more into this week and
Yeah,
really
this
kind of playing
looks
with it.
this looks cute. We haven't finished Bonanza yet. I think we actually put it on the back
It's
burner
great.
to play
Yeah,
Kirby instead. Kirby's been
sure.
really fun. But we'll get back to it after
Kirby.
that.
Yeah, cool. But yeah, I was excited about this. And it launched Shadow Drop. Cool.
Yep.
DK and the new
Is there
outfits.
any big content on DK Island besides like this like roguelike mode that you can do with Void Kong, or is it mostly just
Um,
like that? Because I'm excited to
it's
run around DK Island, but I wasn't
yeah. I
super.
think it's just. I think it's just. I've only played the DK Island stuff, so that's why I said I've
Yeah.
only got like a little bit in there. But yeah, cool. And I did download the demo just so I can have the icon, which is something that I want to. I try to get every freaking icon that I can. This next one, gosh, it's been like a lot of, oh, this is wild, this is wild, this is wild. This next one was kind of interesting because they showed Ditto. And I'm like,
Yep.
okay, there was a leak that there was going to be a weird Pokemon offshoot type of game. I'm like, okay, what's this? Oh, okay. It looks like it's going to be another Collectopedia thing. I think they had one on the 3DS at one point. Maybe that's something that I'm like, oh, wait a minute. This is weird. Ditto's turning into a person. And is Pokemon Pokopia, which is essentially Animal Crossing meets Minecraft meets Life Sim.
Yeah.
Um,
I think this was like the big insult for my wife that was very much hoping for like
yeah,
a GameCube Animal Crossing
yeah,
drop on that service. I think if I can get her to get over that, she would really enjoy this because it's not like she hates Pokemon.
sure.
She enjoys Pokemon, but like this looks cute and this looks like a good one of those, especially
Mm-hmm.
like for Pokemon. And the gimmick of playing as a Ditto transforming into like a random girl. I'm assuming you can customize it because it's a Ditto. Why
Yeah,
can't it change
yeah.
into anything? And then like acquiring moves from different
It's
Pokemon to
great.
like customize the area is
You see her
great. Yep.
spit out the ink or the water.
Yep.
But yeah, and then so like yeah, you'll meet these Pokemon, and as you develop this area, more Pokemon will show up. Um,
And
start
they'll like give you
yeah,
tasks. They're like, hey, I want to like,
yeah.
build, this place, and you can, yeah, this looks like a good one of those. And
Mm-hmm.
maybe I wouldn't like I usually don't enjoy these kinds of games, but this might give me that sort of like directive of like, hey, here's these tasks rather than just more of like an Animal Crossing like, oh, I'm just gonna
Yep.
wander around, do whatever I'm doing today. So
Yep. Give me tasks. Look at them. All them Pokemons are there. So I could see them um updating this game a lot over time with like events. That's one thing that Animal Crossing had on this, the previous Animal Crossing, because all those regular events, whether they were holidays or the multiplayer stuff, was really cool. I think there were a lot of interesting things they did. The home designer stuff. Um, do that with this. Like
Mhm.
have events, have reasons for people to come back regularly rather than just building stuff. Like have them come back and do things. I think that's something that could be really popular. Yeah. So Game Freak, Koei Tecmo.
Koei Tecmo, yeah, which
Yeah.
I was surprising it was them, but
I am
okay.
surprised Game Freak did not mention their remember that game that they announced last year? I think it was way earlier
Oh
this
yeah, they're
year.
like not Pokemon game.
Yeah,
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 I was like,
yeah.
oh yeah, I forgot Game Freak can make games that aren't
Yeah.
Pokemon.
Yeah. Um, they had some Pokemon ZA stuff. Game keeps looking cool. I'm gonna get past it. Yeah, they had their Mega Evolutions. They had
Yeah, the
Yeah.
DLC pack of Mega
DLC.
Evolutions. I guess probably an extra story mode.
Yep.
I don't know.
$30, by the way, this DLC pack is. Ooh, $30. Additional story
Notice they
content,
don't put any
Hollow
prices
X
in
and
this.
Y. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And then they had this, a Killer Returns. I'm like, a Killer Returns, Killer 7. Is this like Killer 7 showing up? No. It was
Danganronpa. Yeah.
Danganronpa. Yeah,
Yeah. I think
Danganronpa.
it's Danganronpa.
Danganronpa.
I've
Thank you.
never played that.
Two.
And it's
Yeah.
another on the list of like, man, I need to check this series
Yeah.
out sometime. Um,
This one is under the radar because nobody has talked about it since the direct. Like, since they showed it on direct, I haven't been finding very many articles about it. I think
yeah,
people just sort of forgot about it. But yeah, so there's that. And same with this one is Dynasty. Hey, you haven't had enough Muso games. Here's another one.
here's
Dynasty
the
Warriors.
OG.
Here's the
Literally its
OG.
origins.
Yeah, doing them. Then they had the Monster Hunter Stories Part 3.
That
Still
one looked
looking good.
interesting in the last one, and I feel like, Digimon might get me into like a monster sort of mood, so maybe I'll check it out. I don't
Yeah.
know, but
They went through a little bit of a sizzle reel with 2 Point Museum, with Virtua Fighter. They had a few, Lego Voyagers was on there. This game still looks really great.
yeah, I'm surprised
This
it's coming
shit
out
just
that
comes out
soon.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh my
Too many
goodness.
games. Like
Yeah, too many games.
the
And I think,
October rush has been very big
yeah,
this past few years.
I think Lego Party is later this month as well, which is wild. Persona 3, that's coming to Switch.
Yep, makes sense to put Persona games on a portable
Yeah,
platform.
yeah, and they had that at the third party direct. Then they're like,
Yeah.
"Hey, by the way, Resident Evil Requiem." I didn't think they were going to drop this because, again, they have the cloud versions of
Mm-hmm.
2 and 3 and 7
7
and
and
8.
8.
I thought
Yeah.
they were just going to release those. Get those into the zeitgeist. But I do believe the more I've been kind of chatting with people about things, Nintendo owners don't have they didn't buy those cloud versions.
Yeah, the cloud versions are hated
They're
all
hated.
around.
Yeah.
I haven't heard it as much with Resident Evil, but I know Kingdom Hearts fans are
Yes.
mad that Kingdom Hearts is only cloud, and this is giving them hope, I think, that
I
maybe
think
we'll
so.
get local versions of Kingdom Hearts on there.
I think
But
so. I think it'll probably sell pretty well too.
yep.
But they said, let's. They said we're gonna show you Requiem, and I'm like, oh my god, they're making this game, and it's launching day and date with the other platforms.
And it
So,
looks good. I mean,
and
like
it
you
looks
can
good.
tell a bit of difference.
Yeah,
Like the hair, the
they're right
RE
there. The
Engine
hair,
hair
yeah,
is very distinctive. That was like my
yeah,
first hint that it was a Resident Evil game when they originally announced it. It
yeah,
was like Grace's hair was like, oh, that's RE Engine. But
yep. But you're
um,
right. It looks really good.
yeah. Like it's not where I'm gonna be playing Resident Evil 9, but like for somebody that only owns a Switch 2 or is just like very much like wants that portable experience but doesn't want a Steam Deck for whatever
Yep,
reason, like that's
yep.
perfect.
So seeing the Square Enix stuff, um, really leads me to believe how certain companies got those. When we've been talked to death about the dev kits and things like that. Nintendo really did focus their dev kits. It seems like it on their premium Japanese developers, Square
Hmm.
Enix and Capcom. Like those two companies for sure. Koei Tecmo got it because they're co-developing, right?
Yeah.
Um, Square Enix, Capcom for sure got it. I think Bandai Namco also got because they do a lot of work with them as well.
Yeah.
So,
I'm
like, here
assuming
are the big
Falcom got
Japanese.
something because there is I think it's literally like a $1 Switch 2 upgrade for
Yeah,
Trails in
yeah,
the Sky first
yep,
chapter, which I think is really interesting. It sounds like, oh, we got it late, so like let's do this, on the back
yep.
end and then just charge $1 for it.
A few companies that I think, yeah, there's a few. I think Funcom is the same way too with whatever game. So yeah, that was good. Good to see Requiem. Crazy.
Yep.
And then we're like, oh, okay, this is the final thing. What is this? This is kind of interesting. What are they starting off with? I don't understand. I couldn't. I'm like, oh my god, Fire Emblem. And then because they've been talking about a Fire Emblem remake of that first Fire Emblem game.
Mm,
So I assumed that that's what this was. They're just fully remaking it, but no, it's a brand new Fire Emblem game. That is, sort of, I don't want to say an arena, but it takes place in it's almost Hunger Games ish type of setting where
That
you
kind of
have
thing
to,
was like very interesting to me. I was like, "Ooh,
yeah.
that looks really neat."
And that's where you kind of build up your squads and you take on characters. There's some, it's almost like One Piece ish, but
Yeah,
there's some interesting design choices they're making with this. I'm very curious to see, um, how this stacks up against other, because I haven't played Fire Emblem Engage yet. I have it. I think
yeah.
I may jump into it eventually, here,
I've
maybe soon
tried a
enough.
few
But yeah,
times to get into Three Houses, and like it just
oh
I keep getting
man,
distracted by other stuff, or it doesn't click, and I'm like, I
three
need to.
dude, Three Houses. I started that game and then I put it aside after like 10 hours. I'm like, I just don't have time for this. Then I got back into it like 2 years later, and I
Yeah.
could not put it down. It was riveting, so much so I went and bought the Warriors game, Three
Oh wow.
Hopes,
Yeah,
which I haven't played yet because that I haven't had a chance to. I might
I'm
dive
very
into
much
it a little bit.
interested in like the arena kind of like gimmick of this one
Yeah,
rather than like the
yeah.
school of three. Like I like a school setting, I like Persona, whatever, but like
Mhm.
and like being a teacher is neat, but like this looks a little bit more neat, but also like the way my brain works, I'll
Yeah,
be like,
yeah.
no, I have to play Three Houses and then I have to get engaged and then I have to play
Right.
engage and then I'll get this one. So
Yeah, no, I think it's an okay track. At least with the Fire Emblem games, there's so much like great masterful design with these that you can play them in any order and go back to them at any time. I really do
yeah.
hope that Nintendo puts Awakening and Conquest, which were the
Yeah, I would
3DS games. I really hope they put those, and there was the actual, they actually had the remake, one of the remakes of 3DS. I do hope they put at least those two on whenever, put them into a package, whatever, put them out there because they were so good and so worth playing, because that's what
yeah.
reinvigorated the Americas
I know
into
people
Fire
like those.
Emblem.
I know people like those. I know there's got like some
Yeah.
weird like face rubbing that you can do on the 3DS touch screen, which also
Yes. Yeah,
some
more
people
than
like.
face rubbing, more than face rubbing. But yeah, I mean, yeah, that is, again, that's a great thing about Fire Emblem. You can play this game and then you can go back to Engage and Three Houses and have a
Yeah,
holistically different experience and love them for different reasons. So yeah, great job to the Fire Emblem games. Like a lot of times with Fire Emblem, you'll play it, or with some games you'll play it, and then you're like, I have to play this before I play the sequel, otherwise it
yeah.
won't make any sense.
And like
But
the
not
way
with
my
Fire Emblem.
like, especially like as I'm like so Kingdom Hearts brain, I'm very much
Yeah,
like I have to do this in order. I'm gonna make myself do it in
sure.
order, but sometimes you don't need to.
Yeah,
Sometimes I gotta remember that.
yeah,
'Cause I'm definitely not going back to like the very first Fire Emblem, but
definitely not. Yeah, yep, yeah. Well, that's a direct. That's kind of our recap of the direct, and there's a bunch of other news. We may actually do. I wouldn't be surprised if we do another podcast later this week. There's so much to catch up on from news, from our previews, from reviews that y'all may see over the next few weeks here. A lot of podcast episodes, or we might just do one-offs, just talking about a specific game because we have a lot of review codes. So
yeah.
um, expect potentially a lot of shows instead of us waiting for the weekly jam session. We may end up doing a couple smaller shows each week as well. So you may have your weekly fix the side quest, and you may have some smaller things. But in the meantime, you've been playing a demo.
Yes, I don't know why demos have become my thing, but I'll download a demo and play it. But this is one that I was gonna play no matter what.
Sure.
They dropped on Thursday, September 11th,
Mm,
but
great
they
day.
they dropped a demo for Digimon Story Time Stranger. It is
Mm,
about an hour and a half ish of like the openings. Like it's one of those where like you play it, you save, and that save will transfer to the main game,
mm,
which is great. So you can get into it a little bit early, and then it has like an extra mode, which I think is like the demo that has been going around at like PAX and Summer Game Quest and all
yeah,
that
yeah.
stuff, where you can run around Central City in the digital world, and then like there's like a small little thing where you can
Mm.
go into the sewers and run around and fight some Digimon with like a much more powerful crew.
By the way,
Oh,
did you
good.
call it Summer Game Quest? Because if you
I'm
did, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, so Keely, call me. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I never know what I say half the time. But no, it's a really good intro to the game. Definitely anybody that is not sure about it should definitely check it out. Because
Hmm,
it'll kind of give you a quick and dirty of like, hey, is this game for me?
hmm,
But just to kind of give a quick overview,
yeah.
it is the newest entry in the story sub-series of Digimon, and the story sub-series have been more like turn-based RPGs, like monster collector focused, where you just kind of build a whole crew of Digimon rather than having like a singular one that you raise, like a pet, like in the World games. Um, so this one starts off, you are a member of a like secret government organization called Adamus, and you are investigating stuff that is going on behind a wall in Shinjuku, the Wall of Hope that they built after a big disaster 8 years ago that they don't give you a lot of info on. And then once you get back there, you are introduced to phase electron life forms, or just Digimon. Um, and then you start to build out your crew. Battles are turn-based. You've got like the turn order on the side. The big thing that I've noticed with Time Stranger is it's doing a lot of like, respecting your time, a lot of like just making things like very easy on you, but not like it being like an easy mode. And this has been the same for like Cyber Sleuth and everything, but in order to get Digimon, you fight them in combat, and then your scan rate for them goes up. Once your scan rate hits 100%, you can convert it and basically make your own. If you wait a little bit longer and get it to 200%, it'll have better stats, like more HP and stuff like that. And then, of course, once your Digimon meets certain criteria, you can Digivolve it up to the next level. Digimon has like a pretty mostly strict order of like, power levels that they go up to like, the mega level and all that stuff. And then, you can also go back down. So like if you are like, oh, I've gone down this route, but this Digimon isn't working for me, I need to maybe build toward another one, you can just go back a level and then just build back up again. And Digimon evolutions have always been like really loosey-goosey. Like the shows and stuff have always kind of had like a very strict line that like most of like the main characters will go on, but the games they'll branch off quite a bit, and I think they've kind of like restricted that a little bit more in this one, because I've seen people being like, oh yeah, you can't get like Agumon to Digivolve into Tyrannomon this time, which has been kind of like a classic weird evolution path for him. But yeah, no, the story I think is going to be like very interesting. It's it's more time travel. So, Time Stranger, you kind of get a sense of that a little bit in the demo, because as you're exploring around, you meet a girl that obviously knows you, but you don't know her, and you're following her because she's like, we have to get to the top of the government building. It's about to happen. We've got to stop this thing. And huge Digimon are like attacking the building as you're trying to make your way up, and that's like kind of like the main dungeon of the demo. You get attacked by you can see in the trailer here, a very scary Metal Greymon, who is a classic Digimon. And other than that, you are just, and once you fight him, you kind of get a little bit more story stuff, and then the game ends. I think that it's going to be a very good starting point for anybody that is intrigued by this, and people that like this kind of like turn-based, like monster collecting RPG system. I've been saying since the beginning, it is a bold move to release this right before Pokemon Legends. And I think it is absolutely a good move, because I think that this is a worthy competitor to that. If you're not sure about Pokemon for whatever reason, tired of it, not sure about like the newest game, whatever, Digimon is a good alternative. I really enjoyed my time with the demo, and I'm very much going to enjoy my time with the main game. I've been a Digimon fan since I was a kid. Fell out of the series for a little bit, so like there's a lot of like middle stuff that I haven't like experienced, but I've been kind of getting back into it, watching the new anime Ghost Game. There's going to be a new anime that comes out about the same time that this game drops. I think Digimon is on a little bit of a resurgence again. But yeah, no, it's a great time. This demo will give you a good sense of what you can expect from it. But
sweet. Yeah, I have never been a Digimon person. I came very close to picking up Digimon games when they've been on sale on like Switch and Steam, or mostly Switch. But I just never get a chance because I am always off doing something else. This game, the way you've hyped me up over this, you especially, I'm like, maybe
I came in swinging with the Digimon stuff. That was the first thing I did.
Like, maybe this isn't. Hi, my name is Tyler Digimon.
Yes.
No, but I love the style of what I've seen from this game. Just the overall general aesthetic, the feel, the vibe, which I think is really, for me, that's really important when I'm looking at new games. Like, it has to have that right vibe to kind of draw me in. And this definitely has a vibe compared to other, and even the way they're representing it here in this demo with some of the cool little animations. But yeah, I don't know. There's there's definitely an interesting feel to this, and I'll just download that demo. I mean, I'll grab the demo on PlayStation and check it out and see what I think, because it can't hurt, right? I'll play with the Portal. I got my PlayStation Portal sitting over here. Let's do it.
Exactly. I think it's going to be a really good like Portal like bed game, because it is like a turn-based RPG. It doesn't require if there's any input lag, it's not really a big deal. I will say it does seem like they've got it running better than they initially expected. They were like initially saying like, yeah, even on like PS5 and PS5 Pro, it's only going to hit like 30 frames per second.
Okay.
The initial area that they drop you, like the first point you get control of in Shinjuku, it does feel like maybe about 30 frames per second. I'm not a big like frame rate expert, but I swear, like as soon as I like got like out of that area, I was like, oh, this feels more 60 now. And a lot of people have been saying like it feels like it's running at like 60, and like maybe they're just like they weren't sure if they could hit that and we're targeting low just to be safe. Maybe in more crowded areas it will dip down a little bit. I ran around a little bit in Central City in the more expanded portion, and it seemed to run fine there. I mostly just ran around and like oohed and awed at all the Digimon that I recognized. I found a Terriermon and a Lopmon cuddling, and I was like, oh my god, yes, I love this game. And they know the kind of Digimon that people want to. It sounds like that these people are like listening to the big fans that are like, hey, we know what you're asking for. And there's going to be like DLC that's going to drop new Digimon, and like I guess new story content, so we can hope for maybe some like newer Digimon that are like kind of like in the newer shows. I'm hoping that like we can get Omnimon Alter S, which is like a different version of Omnimon that's in like the remake of the Adventure series. And it looks like it's gonna have like some really neat like lore references to people that are super into Digimon like me, that kind of like know like, and I'm not super deep into the lore, but I know enough to know how weird it gets. Like the story games have always kind of felt like Shin Megami Tensei or like Persona in a way, with like Cyber Sleuth had the Digilab that you would always go back to, and that was like a Velvet Room kind of thing, and the proprietor of that was Mirai Mikagura, who was like from like a different game, and she's like this like weird, almost like trans-dimensional being type sort of thing. She starts off like introducing she's like a little girl for some reason, when she's like a hot adult in Cyber Sleuth. So it's like, why are you a child in this one? And then apparently like you can go into like, I think they call it the in-between theater is like the difference with the replacement of the Digilab. And like sometimes you go in there and she's older. She's like her Cyber Sleuth version. I've seen some footage of that, so that looks really interesting. But like I said, they've got so many different quality of life things. You can do all your digivolving and converting straight from the menu. So you don't have to go back to the Digilab to do that every time. The in-between theater, I think, is just for dropping your Digimon off in the farm, which is where they'll like train and kind of like upgrade themselves like passively.
The Digimon had to go up to the farm upstate.
To the farm. Yep. And one thing I thought was really interesting was if you stand still for a little while in the field anywhere, your Digimon will just randomly start to heal, like completely heal if you stand still. And you would think that'd make it too easy. Yeah. But no, some of the bosses are hard. Like, even the bosses in the demo, the boss in the main part of the demo ends with a boss against Kuwagamon, and he was actually pretty hard. He like nearly wiped out a couple of my Digimon. I didn't have a lot of revival items because it was the beginning of the game, and I had to just go off what I could find in the field. But it doesn't seem like it's going to make things easier. If anything, it lets them make the game harder, because they know they're doing stuff like, okay, well, you can just stand and heal before every fight, so we can make this random guy like super hard, or you can switch Digimon without it using a turn in combat, so like you can just make combat harder, which I think is going to be a very, very interesting way to do things. So yes, Digimon. Excellent. Everybody should check it out. Let Digimon live again.
Yeah, let Digimon live again. Well, Tyler, thank you. Awesome to get with you on on a Sunday night here. Go over the Nintendo Direct, go over some Digimon, catch up,
Yes.
close out the weekend. I figure it's always nice to do I like the Sunday streams because everyone's wrapping up their weekend. They're getting, well, for those of us that don't work on the weekend, a lot of folks are wrapping up their weekend, getting ready for the work week, and they need something sometimes in the background to keep them going, keep them motivated. That's what we do. We motivate. We get people running. We get people excited about gaming and stuff. So that's gotta love it. Gotta love it.
Yeah. Love getting people excited, and I don't even mind because, like, even if I work on the weekends, my weekend days are easy. Tuesdays, those are my Fridays, and a lot of times I'm dead. And I'm like, okay, let's do this podcast, guys.
I work from home Mondays and Fridays, so I can get a little bit extra shut eye, which means I can kind of stay up a little bit later on Sundays. So, and Thursday nights. But I don't like to podcast on Thursdays because Thursdays are my movie nights. I go to the pre-release movie things, so the early Thursday.
I was gonna say, you're like 5 minutes from a theater, so of course.
Yeah,
I'm like 40 minutes. That's an event. I have to get childcare arranged.
There you go. All right, Tyler, thank you. Thank you to all our wonderful viewers and listeners. You can find us at SideQuesting.com. Hop into the Discord because that's where we always are, hanging out, talking, chatting, being goofs, being a big loving family, and talking about weird setups for our gaming areas, I guess. And
we were sharing pictures of that earlier. I'm just like, here's all my toddler's toys in the living room.
You don't even want to see mine. Mine is a complete mess here. I need to clean up my office. That's part of my. I have to take days off of work to clean up my office because it's that big of a mess. And I think part of the reason is I don't have actual like a storage drawer or cabinet here in my office where I could just throw everything in and get everything off the top of my desk. So I think maybe that'll be my birthday / Christmas gift to myself, would be just to get a cabinet for the corner. Cause I think I can,
there you go.
Yeah, I can clean up a lot. SideQuesting.com, Discord, SideQuesting TV on YouTube and Twitch. We are SideQuesting.com over on Blue Sky. You can find us at Blue Sky right there, somewhere right there.
There we go.
Whatever. That's it right there. We'll see you there. Feel free to drop us a line. See you in the next episode of SideQuest. We love you. Bye-bye.